Sharper Point Commentary, presented by Schwartz Laser Eye Center.
It's almost impossible to wrap my head around the idea that it's been 23 years since something happened that seemed to be impossible before it happened. But it did happen. America was attacked by a foreign force on our own soil on 9/11/2001.
We just had a plane crash into Level 4 of the World Trade Center.
What are those people going to do? All the elevators are blocked out.
Those people couldn't do anything, and that is why
Michael J. Armstrong.
Jack, Charles, Aaron.
their names are read on every September 11th because they couldn't get out, and many police and firefighters who attempted to rescue those who couldn't get out lost their lives as well. It's unreal. It's been 23 years since those terrorist attacks of September 11th, 2001 took place in New York, at the Pentagon, and in the air, ending when United Flight 93 slammed into the ground near Shanksville, Pennsylvania. Thanks to the brave passengers who forced their way into the cockpit and may have kept the terrorists behind the controls from flying that plane into the U.S. Capitol. Nearly 3,000 lives were lost on 9/11, but since a large percentage of the victims at Ground Zero still haven't been physically identified, we're not completely sure of everybody or how many people actually died on that day. One thing I'm sure of, however, is that there will never be another day like it. I've talked about where I was and what I did on that day. You were somewhere else doing something different. As the head of the 100 Club, you may know Angela Harrell for her work helping first responders and their families after tragedy strikes. But did you know she was in Washington, D.C. on September 11th, 2001, a day when we lost a huge number of first responders? Angela joined Jamie West and me this morning to talk about her experience 23 years ago today when she was working as a special agent for the State Department. From inside a meeting room, her fellow agents saw a commercial plane flying low, which puzzled them until they saw that it had hit the Pentagon. Angela went into protector mode because as a State Department special agent, that's her job, protecting. So she helped clear the building of not only State Department employees, but also the kids in the daycare center located there. It was then that she did something I also did on 9/11. She called her mom. I called my mom to break the news of 9/11. She knew I was safe because I was in a radio studio in Phoenix on 9/11. Angela called her mom to let her know she was still alive.
And when she answered the phone, it didn't sound like her. And she said, hello, and it took me by surprise. So I responded with, is this Joan, which is my mother's name? And her voice just quivered, and she said, yes, this is Joan. I go, Mom, it's me. It's me, Mom. And she goes, okay, just go. And I can't believe how overcome I am even now, this many years later. But, to hear what your mom's voice would sound like when they're getting what they think is that call, that news, is overwhelming on every level.
That same kind of call that she received when her husband, a DPS officer, was killed while rescuing someone. That's why she became involved with the 100 Club. As we watch this presidential election unfold and as we watched the debate last night, I have to say, besides the talk of Afghanistan, nobody even talked about 9/11. And that really, really puzzles me.
Thanks for watching Sharper Point. Click to see more from Arizona's Morning News and tap the button in the middle to subscribe.